Welcome to the last day of March 2023. It's March 31st. This Day Weather Podcast brought to you by Cowboy State Daily and also being brought to you by WYDOT. Blustery, windy, chilly conditions across the region today. The storm system will bring snow and wind to South Dakota and parts of the northern plains, while cold northwest winds, mountain snow showers, and a few snow showers in the plains elsewhere. We're going to then see this Chinook pattern develop over the weekend that is going to lead to some warmer temperatures briefly, as it will be a westerly Chinook wind. So cold and blustery today, snow over the northern plains, a bit of a warm-up, but as early as Sunday night and into Monday, this Pacific storm, the next one to roll in, is going to spread areas of snow into the Pacific Northwest, parts of the Great Basin, and areas west of the Divide are going to start to see areas of snow breaking out. And then during the day Monday, we'll see snow develop over central and parts of northern areas of Wyoming, back into Utah, back into portions of Idaho, maybe southern areas of Montana. Then the storm organizes east of the Rockies during the day Tuesday and the Wednesday before intensifying and heading up into the northern plains. Stock growers, especially livestock interests, be prepared. It looks like just about the entire state of Wyoming, the entire state of South Dakota, kind of in the bullseye of this storm. But there will be parts of western and northern Nebraska, parts of southern North Dakota and eastern North Dakota and far southern Montana that will be impacted as well. So be prepared Sunday through Wednesday in those areas for winter storm conditions, especially in the Monday through early Wednesday timeframe. There's still some details to sort out. I will update this podcast over the weekend. I will likely do it when the confidence gets a little bit better in terms of where the storm will get organized. It'll likely be an update that'll come out sometime during the day Saturday. So stay tuned and check the channels for the update this weekend. As we take a look at what is coming, well, we see that big swirl up there in the Gulf of Alaska. That is the storm system that will impact us later on. Here is what's left of the California storm system coming on through. You can see it's up across parts of northeastern Wyoming, heading into the Dakotas. That's where the weather's going to be today. The northwest wind flow behind this low, though, will drag in cold, blustery conditions. The northwest flow will mean snow shower activity into the high country of Wyoming, Colorado, and other surrounding states, while it makes it windy and blustery on the plains with snow showers. Then this system here gets more organized. So there'll be snow into this area later today, tonight, and into tomorrow. And there you can see it on the 500 millibar chart where the main features are today and where the next feature will be coming in early next week. This is what the precipitation looks like through tomorrow morning. So you can see far northern Nebraska, South Dakota, into Minnesota there, northwest Iowa, the heaviest precipitation. But watch out for just enough snow in these areas here to make roads and highways slick across northern Wyoming, parts of central Wyoming. Then you can see the mountains of Colorado, southern Wyoming. The mountains here, the northwest flow is going to make it bring a pattern of occasional snow showers to the higher elevations. This is what the snowfall forecast looks like through tomorrow morning as well. As that system heads east, we've been talking about this for the last couple of days. Going to have a lot of really bad weather across the Midwest, really from the Great Lakes to far northeast Texas. Through the interior there is going to be severe weather with heavy thunderstorms, tornado activity, heavy rain, and hail. Classic spring setup, really. Now, as we go into the next storm situation, we have this next low coming into Washington and Oregon by Monday morning. Out ahead of it, there is going to be a cold push right here coming in from the northwest, and this cold push is going to have Pacific moisture with it. So we're going to see areas of snow break out here along this boundary across the northern Great Basin states into central and southern areas of Wyoming overnight Sunday into Monday. Snow will develop as this trough digs southeast. So there's going to be an initial push of snow coming in late Sunday, overnight into the early morning hours of Monday, and then into Monday evening. Then once we get into the time frame of a little bit later into the day Monday and into Monday night and Tuesday morning, the low gets itself better organized. This is by noon Tuesday. We have the upper level low that is right over the extreme corner of northeastern Colorado. Now, one thing that's complicating the analysis and the modeling here is this double-barreled structure of this upper level low here and the main low here. If we back up a little bit, notice we've got this upper level feature here, this upper level low, and this one here. When there's a couple like this with a lot of jet stream energy, this is one reason why the modeling is having a difficult time trying to sort out where the most concentrated parts of the storm will get itself better organized. So there's still going to be some variability in the track and the details. But as I show you here, the modeling is certainly going to have a look to it that looks a lot better organized than what I showed you yesterday. However, with that said, still expect some deviations in what happens in reality by the time we get into this weekend as we get a little bit closer. And actually what happens with this storm is going to be kind of a combination probably of these different scenarios I'm unfolding. So this is the European model. I'm going to do the same thing I did yesterday, show you what the different solutions are. The European model is looking like this by noon Tuesday. By noon Tuesday, the GFS or the American model is somewhat similar, but it's slower, and it's taking the system by another 6 hours or so to catch up to this one. So the European's a little bit quicker, the European's a little more south and a little bit more intense. The Canadian model right here doesn't have the storm better organized. It kind of comes in as an open drop before it gets out into the northern plains as it goes through. So you can see that they are better, but these subtle differences in track, organization, and placement is going to be critical in terms of where the storm has its highest impacts. Usually in these situations, the European model usually performs as the more superior model, but we'll see. We'll have an update for you this weekend, and we'll see what ends up being the model that wins out. This is the path of the heaviest precipitation that will be forming. This is basically from Sunday night through the early morning hours of Wednesday. So along the entire I-80 corridor and across central and east central, especially east central Wyoming, then into northwest Nebraska into the Pine Ridge, and then as we get up into South Dakota again, and the areas of eastern North Dakota and Minnesota. This is where the storm is likely going to have its highest impacts. As I said yesterday, this band could be a little more south or it could be a little bit more north, but it is kind of settling into here. The initial Colorado front range looks to be downsloped in this situation. So Denver, the front range area, is probably going to avoid the worst of it in terms of the heavier snow potential. But if you can see right here, this axis is where the biggest, highest risk of the heaviest precipitation is going to be. And it's going to be 99% snow. Plenty cold that this will be a snow event in those areas. So this is where we'll certainly need to watch out for the heavier snowfall and the bigger impacts. This is where livestock interests really want to pay close attention if you're in calving operations to be prepared for this, as the system will come together rather quickly. We don't think it's going to linger, though. It is going to kick out fairly quickly during the day Wednesday. That'll keep it from becoming a multi-day storm. But certainly from late Monday through late Tuesday, it will be impactful. If we were to focus in a little bit closer to the more concentrated areas of the heavier snowfall, this is using the 10-to-1 ratio. And you can see the Pine Ridge of South Dakota and Nebraska there, from the east central parts of Wyoming around the Lusk area into parts of southwest South Dakota, northwest Nebraska. Look back over towards the Laramie Range into the Casper, Lander, Riverton areas where the upslope will kick into gear, then heavier precipitation in the mountain areas as well. Again, this could shift a little north. This could shift a little bit south. We'll see what it says over the weekend. Nonetheless, you're going to need to be prepared for winter weather, and look at the cold. Temperatures 25 to 30 degrees below average by Tuesday afternoon with this system. So it is going to be a April snow event, and then a lot of wind down here in southern Colorado and New Mexico. This is going to be a very windy situation Monday into Tuesday, but as the low intensifies, there'll be some strong winds in this area here, causing areas of blowing and drifting snow, and it will be a wind that'll be coming in from the northwest as we get into late Tuesday night and during the day Wednesday. So that's where the prevailing strongest winds will be as the storm intensifies. The initial snow that falls will have a bit of an easterly, southeasterly component, and that'll be Sunday night during the day, Monday, and into Monday night and Tuesday morning, then switching to a northwest wind component on the tail end on the backside of the storm system here. Have yourself a good weekend. We'll give you an update then. Have a good weekend, and we'll see what happens next.